Any health-related information on the following show provides general information only. Content presented on any show by any host or guest should not be substituted for a doctor's advice. Always consult your physician before beginning any new diet, exercise, or treatment program.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Inspired and Empowered Living TV show and podcast. Are you ready to live an inspired and empowered life? We are live Tuesdays, 11 a.m. Eastern on w4wn.com, talk4tv.com, and my YouTube channel. And today we will be talking about creating healthy, loving, and joyful relationships, part 2. We'll continue where we left off last week, and you can find out how to create a healthy, loving, joyful relationship. Learn the difference between an unhealthy relationship and a healthy one and an extraordinary one. Discover how to understand and transform your relationships in new ways to live an inspired and empowered life. Together, let's create a life you love. I'm your host, Nanci Deutsch, licensed clinical social worker and intuitive breakthrough expert, and I combine my counseling, coaching, and intuitive skills to transform your life and the lives of many women and coaches, healers, therapists, and entrepreneurs. And we have Allie in the house. Good morning, Allie. So, and a reminder, this show is not a replacement for counseling or therapy. It is for educational purposes only. So last week we talked about what happens when issues arise. We don't want them arriving. When issues arise in your relationships. And I talked about a book, which I love this book. It's called Conscious Loving by Harville and by Gay and Kathleen Hendricks. And there is another book by Harville Hendricks, and that is Getting the Love You Want. And Gay and Kathleen Hendricks wrote the book Conscious Loving. These are really, really great books for partnership relationships. And today, what I'm going to be talking about is not just partnership. It's about all relationships. Because in order to have that inspired and empowered and amazing life you want, it's all about relationship. Everything, we are interconnected and interdependent with other people. And the healthier relationships you have makes your life more exciting and worthwhile and more connected. And also I want to remind you that relationship is also about relationship with yourself. And it's also about relationship with your furry friends, or snaky or birdie friends. Your pets are also part of the relationships that make life worthwhile, whether dogs, cats, rabbits, hamsters, snakes, turtles, or birds. They're all important. And if I've left out your pet, I'm sorry, but I'm just going off the cuff, whatever animals come to my mind. So Anyway, it's really important to remember that life is about better relationships, and that's what we want. So that's what I'm here to share with you today. So, first, I want to go into what is an unhealthy relationship. And that way, you can get to see, is your relationship the opposite of that or somewhere in between? Or is your relationship something, there's unhealthiness there that can be healed? Okay, so it doesn't mean all or nothing. It doesn't mean you have to leave somebody. It means, okay, this is where we need to improve. And Allie says, I don't know what I don't know what I'd do without my fur kids. I love it, Allie. Yep. Fur kids. That's great. Yes. Fur kids. And fur kids are very important. So, I mean, I'll tell you, I have clients recently lost their fur kids, their doggies. They recently got new doggies to love, and it brings so much joy and so much love. And I know I haven't had my fur kid in a while, but I love my cookie girl. It's been a while. Soon we'll be reunited, or I will reconnect with another fur kid. I don't know, but I love that, fur kids. Yes, that's a great expression. Thank you, Allie. So back to trusting. It's learning to trust yourself. You intuitively, and I'm going to be talking more about using your intuition in relationships, but first, I really feel it's important that we get through what's unhealthy and then what's healthy. We're going to go to both, and then we can go to intuition in your relationships. Summing it up. So the first thing is intuitively, you do know when something is off. You know when something does not feel right, and maybe you're just not trusting yourself. And I'll give you an example. I had a client, and her name was Selma. I always use pseudonames. So in this case, we're calling her Selma. So Selma was in a relationship with Harry. And Harry, they were in this relationship, and Selma felt like something was off. But she wasn't trusting herself. She felt like Harry was cheating, wasn't trusting herself. And so when she came to me, we worked on that. And after the first session, she got really, really clear. Yes, intuitively, she was right that he was cheating on her. And it was not a healthy relationship. It was not, because here's the thing. Infidelity is not good. Nope, it's not what you want. But if you're being guided, if it's something that you feel that there's other good pieces or other reasons that you're being guided to stay, and by guided, what I mean is you're trusting your intuition, and your intuition is saying, yes, you need to work through this. Because I've also worked with couples that have worked through infidelity. But she knew that there was just too much that was not healthy in this relationship, along with the infidelity. And she knew she needed to leave. That was her guidance. And so we made an action plan. She made this action plan, and she gathered what she needed to. And she then was able to then leave the relationship. And so Selma really worked on herself. She worked on healing herself, and really felt she was feeling so much better about herself. And then she met Ryan. And after she met Ryan, she was so happy, and she felt like really positive. She was in this great relationship. And then she came to me and she said, I feel like Ryan's cheating. So we did a session and we worked on her, helping her get in touch with her intuition. And this time it was that he was not cheating on her. It was her stuff. And she decided to stay. And so the moral of the story is it's about learning to trust yourself and also to work on clearing your issues that keep you from trusting your truth, from trusting your knowing, because inside you know what the truth is. And that's what I want to support you in remembering. And when an unhealthy relationship is happening, there is someone that is acting out their feelings in really unhealthy ways. If there is screaming, yelling, blaming, shaming, dumping, and that person, now, if it's you and you're saying, you know what, or that other person is saying, I choose to heal. I choose to grow. I choose to change. I don't want to live like this because this isn't who I want to be, then you're on the right track. However, if you're in a relationship with someone who is not willing to admit that they've done something wrong, that they may have hurt you, that there is unhealthy behavior going on, then you need to look at, is this an unhealthy or toxic relationship? And this is about you learning what is your truth and what works for you and what doesn't. And the other thing that's really important in an unhealthy relationship is that there's constant control and they're unwilling to hear what you want, what your needs are, what your desires are, and they're not willing to even open to what it is you need or want or desire, that there's no flow of communication. If there's not healthy communication, then there's unhealth in the relationship. And if there's control or manipulation, it's an unhealthy relationship. If there is an abuse of power, emotional, mental, physical, sexual, any kind of abuse is not acceptable. And also, I do want to say that there is spiritual abuse, religious abuse. I mean, abuse can come in many forms. And that abuse of power. And what I want to support all of you in remembering is don't give your power away. Do not give your power away. It's really, really important for you to take back your power in healthy, appropriate ways. Now, you don't want to become an abusive person. You want to be assertive and you want to speak your truth and you want to come from healthy, appropriate ways. And we're going to go into that more during this show or the next one. So then when there's not respect with the other person, if you're not feeling respected or they're feeling not respected or there's a disrespect that's happening, and here's the thing, it's about knowing that can this relationship, can this person change? Is this person willing to change? Are you willing to change? All of that is really important to look at. There's many variables when you're looking at your relationships. And another warning or red flag is you're not able to be yourself. If you're in a relationship with someone you're not feeling comfortable or you're not feeling safe or you're not able to just let your hair down and just be you, there's something wrong there. Now, it may be you not feeling comfortable in relationship, or it may be the other person who doesn't make you feel safe, or it doesn't feel safe, or it may be a combination of both. Whatever it is, it's something for you to explore, because it's really important. You want to be able to feel safe and comfortable and connected with the other person, whether it's a partner, a friend, a parent, a child, a loved one, in any way, shape, or form. So that's really an important piece in a healthy relationship. Another thing that happens is for you to look at, is there enough separation and alone time? And what I mean by that is sometimes when you get into, let's say, a romantic relationship or a friendship, a codependent friendship, and there's so much togetherness, it's like you're inseparable. You can't, the people, just have inseparable relationships. And if there is not enough time for you to be you and them to be them, then it's something that's not healthy. Now, you may say, but we just connected, we just met. And I'm going to support you in healthy relationships develop over time. It takes time. And you want to be able to develop that relationship in time. Another aspect of an unhealthy relationship is there's little or no intimacy. Now, I talked about intimacy on last week's show, and it's such a cool word because if you break it down, into me, I see. Now, I don't remember where I heard it from, but it's not something I made up. It's something that I've heard along the way. Into me, I see. Every relationship offers you the opportunity to become more you. And the more intimate that you are able to get within a relationship, the more you can be you. When there is not enough intimacy, when you feel that there isn't enough time, or you don't have time to be you, or there is not enough you in there, something's off. And so these are just warning signs for you to be on the lookout, of what works, what's good, what's a good, healthy relationship. Well, actually, that's what an unhealthy relationship is. Now, I'm going to go into what a healthy relationship is. When you have a healthy, loving, joyful relationship, an extraordinary one, there is trust. You can really trust the other person. You trust yourself, and you trust yourself with the other person. There's this level of trust. Now, here's the thing. I'm not going to tell you that your friend, partner, lover, whatever you want to call it, parent, child, over time, they never hurt you. Remember, we're all human, and people are going to make mistakes. But where is it something that you can work through? Something that you can talk about and communicate, because that's all part of a healthy relationship. And trust grows. Trust is a process. And when the trust is broken, like because of infidelity or something else happens, you're going to need to rebuild that trust. It doesn't mean the relationship has to end if there are other good things in the relationship, but it means that You may have to rebuild it and heal. What I want you to look at as relationships. Relationships are entities or beings or energies unto themselves, because relationships are more than the sum of its parts. There's you and there's the other person. The healthier you are, the healthier aspect you bring in relationship. That's why ends up being all about you. Because when you become a healthier person, you get to have healthier relationships. And if something is off, you're able to recognize it and either work on correcting it if the other person is willing, or leaving if the other person isn't. Because ultimately, it's about you taking care of you. And also supporting. See, relationships are about taking care of yourself. And it doesn't mean you're going to take care of the other person, but it's about mutual support. And there's a really big difference of taking care of somebody, of being codependent and taking on the other person's stuff, and really supporting the other person. Now, sometimes what happens with parents is when their kids grow up and the kids are adult kids, you may end up feeling like obligated or feeling like you need to keep taking care of that child. Now, that adult child may need your support, but there's a balancing act in how much you need to let go and how much you need to support. You don't have to do it all. It's because then you're giving yourself away. And that includes a partner, that includes somebody you're in a relationship with someone who may be challenged physically. So it's really about this balancing act in relationships, the healthy give and take, or the healthy place for you to be on where you need to take care of yourself in this relationship. Really want to support you with that. And then there's honesty. Being honest with yourself about the relationship and being honest with the other person. And the more honesty that you can have with that other person, the better, healthier relationship you'll have. And so, honesty is a really important, crucial aspect of healthy, loving, joyful relationships. And sometimes it's really getting in touch where you're not feeling or getting connected with the honesty within yourself. Is this relationship one you really want to be in? Is it one you're being called to be in? Or is it one that you're tolerating or you really need to let go of? And that's all part of your journey to health and wholeness. And you deserve healthy, loving, joyful relationships. You deserve to have that in your life. And also, you need to believe that you deserve it. You need to believe that it's possible and that you can have that. And so I really want to support you in that. And a healthy, loving, joyful relationship is that you are able to be seen and heard, and you feel loved and appreciated. And if any of those are lacking, then then what is it that the two of you can do together to help shift that so that you feel more love and joy and peace? And the other person is able to hear your needs, your wants, your desires, and they're willing. They're willing to listen. They're willing to change. They're willing to work with you. And I will talk to you about Thelma. And Thelma was, I had mentioned her last week. She was in this relationship with her husband, and she was very angry for a very long time. But as she started healing herself, and she started communicating with him in healthy ways, what her needs and wants were, what she was feeling. And as she communicated those things, the relationship began to change. And so what happened was they started getting closer. And she made the decision to stay in that relationship and grow old with him instead of wanting to leave. And that's what can happen. Even if the other person is not in counseling or therapy or coaching, it doesn't mean you can't have a healthier relationship. When you, as long as both of you are taking responsibility for your part, you're owning yours, he or she is owning theirs, and together you come together. And whether it's partnership or friendship or whatever, know that it's all about each of you taking responsibility for your peace in arguments, conflicts, disagreements, in the relationship itself, the give and the take. All of that is important. And if anybody in the chat wants to share anything about what they've noticed in relationships, or that if you have any questions, definitely type them in the chat. And a healthy relationship, you feel safe, you feel loved. Like I said before, you feel seen and heard and appreciated. And what's really important is that you learn to acknowledge and praise each other. When I do couple counseling, when I was doing couple counseling more, I would end the sessions where I'd have both partners look into each other's eyes and acknowledge something about each other. It's really important to see the best in those you love. Whether it's your partner, your friend, coworker, child, parent, whoever it is, and of course, yourself. Whoever it is, find the best in them. What it is you love about them. What brought you together. That's really important to remember. Learning to support each other. Learning to support each other is a really important piece. And it's different than taking care of. When you feel like you're taking care of someone, and what happens is energetically, if you are giving too much to the other person, what happens is you feel depleted. If you are starting to feel depleted by any of your relationships, what it is a message for you is to pull back a little bit, or a lot, depending on how much you're giving, and to really look at how you can take care of yourself and support yourself. Now, it doesn't mean, I don't mean all or nothing. I don't mean not supporting the other person at all, because relationships are based on mutual support and mutual caring and love and help and different things. But if it's all in one-sided direction and it stays like that over a long period of time, then it's something for you to look at. Is there a need in you to be needed? Because I've had clients through the years where they have been in relationships and they wanted to be needed. That it gave them a purpose. It gave them a sense of self. And if that's you, then you want to look at what else can you do? Pulling back and ask yourself, what can you do to take care of you? Taking care of you is okay. Taking care of someone else is not. Now, of course, all right, there are exceptions to the rule. You need to take care of your kids, all right? If they're younger kids, you're going to need to take care of them. It's part of being a parent. And if someone is ill and you are a caretaker, then you're going to need to take care of them. But, even in taking care of kids or being a caretaker to someone who is ill, doesn't mean you forget yourself. You need to take care of you. And so that's where the balancing act comes in. Balance is an important part. Balancing in the relationship itself, and balancing within yourself. Really important. Healthy communication. You cannot have a healthy, loving, joyful relationship without healthy communication. And healthy communication is using I language. I feel when you blah, 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 blah. Now, it's really important that you don't dump on the other person like you. Because if you're doing that, that's not going to be helpful. Usually what happens when you start youing somebody, you are calling them names. You're being really stupid. You're really dumb right now. Not a good thing. You want to make sure that you're definitely, because when you use somebody, they shut down and they usually go on the defensive. You want to be able to, when you when you did this, I felt, not that person, not the person itself, but the behavior. And we have Allie. Allie said, that's not easy, unfortunately, especially if there's multiple relationships where you're the caregiver. So, Allie, yes, I hear that. If you have multiple relationships where you're the caregiver, that's very challenging. And boy, did your soul pick challenges and finding a way to take care of yourself, even though you have multiple relationships that you are a caretaker for. And I really thank you for sharing that, Allie. And I'm sure that you're not alone, that there are other people that have that as well. And again, it's going to be a balancing act. How do you balance the caretaking with taking care of yourself? And it's learning, and perhaps just open to possibilities. Because when I'm all about like connecting with the soul, and what our soul has chosen in this lifetime. And so you definitely chose a challenging opportunity. And what I support you in asking yourself is, what am I learning from this experience? And perhaps it means that no matter how many people you're taking care of, it's learning to take care of that yourself. Learning to really take care of you no matter what, even when you're caretaking other people. And so again, it's really finding that balance point. And I hear that it can be really challenging when you're caretaking more than one person. And I'm sending you lots of love and blessings and lots of positive energy. And feel like you're an amazing person. And it's time to also take care of yourself. And that's for all of you out there that need that extra support to remember to take care of you. You deserve it. And it's really important in all your relationships, not to give yourself away. And I know what that's like too, because I've been there and I've done that. And also know that you're on this journey. You're on a journey of self-discovery and learning to be able, opportunities to keep growing and to keep self-loving and to keep taking care of yourself more and more, even in the challenge of caretaking somebody else or more than one person. So really support you. So back to the communication, just remembering that the communication, when you're communicating in healthy ways, you're focusing on the behavior, not the person. You never want to shame anyone because that is not going to be in your best interest or the relationship's best interest. What you want to focus on is the behavior and how that behavior is affecting you and going into your feelings, not your judgments. So, an example, when you don't call me and I'm expecting you to be home, or I'm expecting you to call me, I feel really disappointed and I feel really hurt. And what I'm asking, then you want to talk about your need. And what I'm asking you is, I'm asking you to please remember to call me or text me, communicate if you're going to be late, communicate if you have something else that came up. And that's my needs. So it's important to be in that communication. And when to really have that extraordinary relationship, it starts with being that person. Who do you want to be? Who do you want to become in that relationship? When you are your best self. Now, listen, we are all human beings. We're all on the journey. We're all in this process. So you don't have to be perfect to be in an amazing relationship. You don't have to be perfect to attract an amazing relationship. Wherever you are in the journey, you don't have to be perfect to have amazing friendships, because that's not going to happen, because you are human. but it's learning and growing and healing and changing and being in the journey of self-awareness and self-discovery and loving yourself more and more. And as you love yourself more and more, then your relationships can expand. I gave an example last week where when I really had more low self-esteem, my relationships were more challenging. And as I grew in more self-love and feeling better about myself, my relationships have gotten better and better and better. Because they're a reflection of what you feel, what I felt inside of me, and what you feel inside. Your relationships are reflections of you and how you feel about yourself, what you deserve, what you think you deserve. And so if you don't know where to begin to start changing a relationship, start with yourself. That's where it begins. That's where it begins. And so if there are any questions, let me know. And what I also want you to support you in doing is dream. What would it be like to have this amazing, healthy, loving, joyful relationship, whether it's a partnership, whether it's a friendship, whether it's a work relationship? What would it be like? Dare to dream. Dream about what it would be like. Because all creation starts with your imagination. Now, if you can't get there, start with where you're at. The next phase of a relationship, the next possibility, the next opportunity. That's what I want to support you in. And what we talked about today is really about what makes a relationship unhealthy and what makes a relationship healthy. And I want to support you. I have one of the things I am going to just say the bottom line for everything in your life. Bottom line is you. The healthier you are, the clearer you are, the more you can connect with your truth, whether it's in relationships, whether it's within yourself, however it is. When you connect with yourself and tune in to take the guided action, you can create healthier and healthier relationships. And I'm going to go more into that next week. It's how to use your intuition to create healthy, loving, and joyful relationships. And I also want to let you know that I have a meditation that is there for you to use. If you go to inspiredandempoweredliving.com/meditation, there is an intuitive decision-making meditation. So if you need to make a decision and you're not sure what decision to make, and you want to understand more about a relationship or a decision that you need to make around work or family or yourself, use the intuitive decision-making meditation. So go to inspiredandempoweredliving.com/meditation. And I really want to support you in being able to know that you deserve an inspired and empowered relationship and life. And we have Marie says, sorry, couldn't get on until now. Tech issues here. We'll catch the replay. Thank you, Marie, for chiming in. Thank you. Thank you all for being here. So I want to wish you, so we're going to continue next week with intuition and using your intuition in your relationships. And I wish you all an inspired and empowered day and an inspired and empowered week. Have a great one, everybody. Bye for now.